brothers and sisters from the association with whom I have an association of almost 35 years to address as the Chief Justice of India, and therefore even if I exceed time, I seek your apologies in the beginning itself. I am really honored to be म्हणजे हा माझ्या दृष्टीनं घरातल्या लोकांनी केलेला सत्कार आहे आणि आपल्या लोकांनी जे कौतुक केलेलं असतं त्याचं महत्त्व बाकीच्या कुठल्याही सत्कारापेक्षा हे निश्चितच कितीतरी पटीने जास्त महत्त्वाचं असतं. I am deeply privileged to be felicitated by none other than Justice Uday Lalit, who was my Chief Justice for 76 days, only 76 days. It is said that in the past, the Justice Roda was with us in Delhi, was one of the finest Chief Justices who is still remembered as one of the greatest Chief Justices. But I can share on this occasion that I have seen about half a dozen Chief Justices, but the two Chief Justices with whom I am highly impressed, though both of them had a short stint, are Chief Justice Uday Lalit and Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna. Though Justice Uday Lalit had a short stint of 76 days, and Justice Sanjeev Khanna at almost the same time as I had, around 6 months. Both of them brought in transparency, democracy, and inclusiveness. It is because of Justice Uday Lalit constituting the 5 constitution bench headed by senior-most judges of the Supreme Court that as a uni judge of the Supreme Court, I got an opportunity to pen down my first constitution bench judgment in the demonetization case. Like Justice Lalit and Justice Sanjeev Khanna, I am also a firm believer in the principle that Chief Justice is only a first amongst equals and not the master of the Supreme Court. There is a growing belief that the Supreme Court is a Chief Justice's court and not a court of all the judges. But I must say with matter of pride that Justice Lalit, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, and I have attempted to dispel that notion immediately, like Justice Lalit, immediately after he took over as a CJI, he had held a full court meeting on the very next day. I also held a full court meeting immediately on the next day of assuming the office, and we took all the decisions by taking into consideration views of everyone, and all the decisions were taken by the Supreme Court in its meeting held on 15th of May 2025, were the decisions of the Supreme Court of India and not of Justice Gowai. My two colleagues are present there, the third one joined little later. When I look back upon the journey of 64 and a half years, there are many memories which come in my mind. There is a contribution of many who have made this journey reach its destination where I am today. Though it will not be possible to outline all those things in detail, I think I would not like to miss this opportunity to at least briefly address to them. As with everyone, it is the upbringing, it is the parents who mainly contribute to the upbringing of their children. It is my upbringing in a family which was totally inspired by the ideology of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, the architect of the Constitution, the proponent of the social and economic justice in the country. That has deeply influenced my upbringing and also working as a judge, as a lawyer. My father, as Justice Kilor referred to, had devoted himself to the social and political life from the early days of life, and along with Dr. Ambedkar, he was in the movement for the upliftment of the downtrodden. As a student, as a school-going boy, as a college-going boy, I used to travel with him a lot. And therefore, the problems which I could see him solving, the problems that which he used to address as a leader of the masses, also had a deep impact on what I think about life, what I think about one should be. As I always said in my other speeches, that it was my father's decision that I should be a lawyer, though my interests were somewhere else. But it was his decision that he said, because he wanted to be a lawyer, and because of his commitment to social and political activities, he could not complete his law studies. And therefore, it was his decision which I followed, that I became a lawyer. It's my mother's hard work, and we lived in a small house, and as I said yesterday, and outside Amravati, that the facilities for education at that time were very less in the taluka places, and therefore our house always used to have 10 to 15 relatives for education. And though we had a very humble background, my parents used to look after not only their close relatives but also the expanded family. And I think this is that value of inclusiveness, this is that value of broader aspect to include everyone in the fold that has shaped my future life. After completing my law, because I was doing law in Bombay, I was a student of Government Law College, but since in 1982, I used to live in Mumbai because of my father's office as a chairman of the Legislative Council. But after 1982, she was not continued, and therefore I shifted to Amravati and continued my education in Punjab Deshmukh Law College, Amravati. After passing out LLB, I started practice in Mumbai and was junior with Barrister Raja S. Bhosle. I must express my gratitude to my senior, who was encouraging and gave us juniors a lot of opportunities to argue the matters. I must also mention about some of the judges who at the relevant time were sitting at Mumbai, senior judges, and they used to encourage the junior members of the bar to argue the cases themselves whenever the seniors were, whenever an adjournment or pass-over was called, was sought on the ground that the seniors are not available. One of them was Justice C.S. Dharmadhikari, and the other one was Justice P.B. Sawant. They gave me an opportunity by giving me many amicus curiae matters, and therefore, even in the early days of my stint at Mumbai, I could learn a lot by appearing in amicus curiae matters and my seniors matters. I got a rarest opportunity of arguing a full bench in Mumbai in 85-86 on the interpretation of Article 341 and 342 of the Constitution. Advocate Srihari had come to argue that matter from Nagpur, because one of the matters was from Nagpur and my matter was from Mumbai, so they were clubbed together to argue before full bench of Justice Chitatosh Mukherjee, Justice C.S. Dharmadekari and Justice S.P. Kurdukar. Mr. Ane, after arguing the case for one day, he got influenza and he was not in a position to come to the court. And therefore he omitted to proceed with the arguments, and I argued that matter for about 2 days or so. Bhushangawai Popade was the Advocate General then, and he was opposing us in the matter. I was always impressed by two of the most eminent members of the Nagpur Bar, Bhushangawai Popade and V.R. Manor. Coincidentally, both of them were my father's friends. And I developed acquaintance with both of them in Nagpur, in Bombay itself. And both of them advised me that you are from Vidarbha area, so if you shift your base to Nagpur, it will be better for you. In a place like Nagpur, you will flourish better than the sea of lawyers at Mumbai. And I must say that it was the decision to abide by their advice and join the Nagpur High Court Bar and become the member of the High Court Bar Association Nagpur, which was a turning point for me in my career. I shifted here in 1990. Mr. V.R. Manor replaced Bhushangawai Popade as the Advocate General, and I still recollect 1992. When he became Advocate General, he wanted to change the government witness panel. And he asked me to join the government witness office as AGP. He said that you will get a very good experience, a variety of matters in the government witness office, and it will strengthen your foundation. I had not yet completed 7 years of practice on the date on which he offered that, and when I expressed this difficulty to him, he found out a solution. He asked me, when are you completing 7 years? So that was somewhere in April. He said, we will issue the advertisement after April. And that's how many young lawyers like me, V.M. Deshpande, Arvind Majumdar, and Raju Padkolkar came in the team of the government bidder. Bhaskara Padil was then our captain, he was the government bidder. And I must state that he gave full opportunities to all four of us. And we encashed that opportunity. May it be me or V.M. Deshpande, Raju Padkolkar and Arvind Majumdar. Unfortunately, two of them are no more with us. He gave us matters to argue wherever even the virus of the medical admission rules, engineering college rules, the virus of statutes were involved. I recollect that when